This may look like a giant platform sitting underneath a rocket, but look closer. The platform is moving. Underneath one of NASA's most powerful rockets is a machine weighing more than 6 million pounds. It moves on enormous crawler tracks. It can carry millions of pounds. And when fully loaded, it travels at about the speed of a person walking very slowly. This is NASA's Crawler Transporter 2. And without machines like this, some of the largest rockets ever built would never even reach the launch pad. To understand this machine, we have to go back to the Apollo era. NASA faced an unusual engineering problem. The Saturn V was assembled vertically inside the massive vehicle assembly building, but the launch pad was miles away. NASA couldn't simply put the rocket on a conventional truck. The rocket, launch platform, and supporting structures represented an enormous load that had to be moved extremely carefully. So engineers created something completely different. Not a truck, not a crane, not a train. A gigantic self-propelled track transporter. 2 crawler transporters were built in the 1960s. Decades later, Crawler Transporter 2 is still working. Standing beside CT2 completely changes your sense of scale. It is approximately 131 feet long and 114 feet wide. That's roughly the footprint of a baseball infield. And the machine itself weighs approximately 6.65 million pounds. That's before putting the mobile launcher and rocket above it. Its rated carrying capacity is approximately 18 million pounds. But here's perhaps the strangest part. Despite all that mass, the machine moves under its own power. That's why Guinness World Records recognizes Crawler Transporter 2 as the world's heaviest self-powered vehicle. Now look underneath it. Instead of ordinary wheels, the crawler rides on 4 enormous double-tracked assemblies positioned at its corners. These tracks spread the tremendous load over a much larger contact area. Think about what would happen if millions of pounds were concentrated onto a handful of ordinary tires. The ground pressure would become enormous. The crawler's huge track system distributes that load across the specially prepared crawlerway. But simply making the tracks enormous isn't enough. All 4 corners must work together. The machine has to move, steer, brake, and remain stable while supporting an extraordinarily valuable load. And above it may be an entire launch system, towering hundreds of feet into the air. CT2 doesn't move quickly, and that's intentional. Loaded, its speed is approximately 1 mile per hour. Unloaded, it can travel at up to approximately 2 miles per hour. That sounds painfully slow until you consider what the machine is transporting. At this scale, speed isn't the engineering achievement. Control is. Every movement has to be smooth. Sudden acceleration, aggressive braking, or excessive vibration would be unacceptable when transporting a launch system. The crawler, therefore, behaves less like a conventional vehicle and more like an enormous precision positioning machine. And this is where the engineering becomes remarkable. The route to the launch pad isn't perfectly flat. The crawler eventually has to negotiate the incline leading toward the pad, but the structure sitting above it needs to remain carefully controlled. NASA uses a system known as jacking, equalization, and leveling, or GEL. Hydraulic cylinders at the crawler's corners can adjust the height of the platform. As the terrain changes beneath the machine, the system compensates. Imagine carrying a tall glass filled almost to the top while walking up a ramp. Your hand instinctively changes position to keep the glass level. CT2 performs a vastly more sophisticated version of that idea, with millions of pounds above it. Moving something this massive requires an unusual power system. Large diesel engines drive electrical generators. Those generators provide electrical power for the crawler's propulsion and other systems. This diesel-electric architecture gives engineers the ability to produce enormous amounts of controlled power without relying on a conventional mechanical drivetrain like the one in a truck. Power can be distributed to the traction motors responsible for moving the tracks. The result is an enormous vehicle that can start, crawl, and stop with remarkable precision. Then there's another problem. How do you steer something wider than many buildings? CT2 has operator cabs positioned at opposite ends. The crawler's track assemblies allow the machine to make controlled directional adjustments as it follows the crawlerway. But nobody is trying to make a tight turn at highway speed. Every steering correction happens slowly. Because when you're moving millions of pounds beneath a rocket, even a small change in direction becomes a serious engineering operation. The road beneath CT2 is also part of the machine's engineering story. This isn't ordinary asphalt. NASA built a specialized crawlerway between the vehicle assembly building and the launch complexes. Its surface and underlying structure have to support extraordinary loads while allowing the crawler's tracks to move reliably. So when you see a NASA rocket slowly traveling toward the launch pad, you're really watching an entire engineered transportation system working together. The rocket, the mobile launcher, the crawler, and the crawlerway beneath them. What's perhaps most remarkable is the age of this machine. The crawler transporters were originally built for Apollo. They carried Saturn V launch systems. Later, they supported the Space Shuttle program. And instead of simply throwing CT2 away when newer rockets arrived, NASA upgraded it. Generators were replaced. Gear assemblies were upgraded. Hydraulic leveling components were improved. Braking and monitoring systems were modernized. The basic machine created during the race to the moon was transformed to support another generation of lunar exploration. That raises an interesting engineering question. Why continue using a machine designed more than half a century ago? Because good engineering isn't automatically obsolete engineering. The fundamental problem hasn't changed. NASA still needs to move an enormous vertically assembled launch system from the vehicle assembly building to the launch pad. And the crawler was designed from the beginning for exactly that job. Instead of replacing the entire concept, engineers strengthened and modernized the systems that needed improvement. The result is a fascinating combination of 1960s heavy engineering and modern control technology. Now look at the machine again. Look at the people standing beside it. Look at the tracks. Then look upward at the launch structure towering above it. This is what makes the crawlers so unusual. Most enormous machines are designed to dig, lift, or haul material. CT2 has one extremely specialized purpose: to take one of humanity's largest machines, place it underneath another enormous machine, and slowly carry the entire system toward space. When we watch a rocket launch, our attention naturally goes upward. We watch the engines ignite. We watch the vehicle clear the tower, and within seconds, it's disappearing into the sky. But long before that moment, another extraordinary machine has already completed its mission. At roughly 1 mile per hour, one careful movement at a time. NASA's Crawler Transporter 2 may never leave Earth, but without engineering like this on the ground, getting to space would be much harder. If you enjoy discovering how the world's most extraordinary machines actually work, subscribe to How Engineering Works. Because sometimes the most incredible engineering isn't flying through space, it's the machine carrying it there.